Hey team, Grant hanging back here with DroneDeploy. We are live here from Groundbreak, joined with a special guest on the Procore team. This is really awesome, Julian. I really appreciate you joining here. I don't know how we swinged to the fences to get you to come in and be with us, but one, thank you. It's great to see you.
Yeah, happy to be here,
All right,
man.
so Julian, VP of Product. So just to even like level set here, if folks haven't met him or seen him on LinkedIn, tell us a little bit about your role, kind of what you do on the Procore team, just to kind of level set some folks of what they're tuning in on.
Yeah, sure. So I'm VP of Product here over our General Contractors team, over our project management tools and our quality and safety tools. So from the General Contractor side, my job is to represent the voice of the customer of the General Contracting Group throughout all of Procore. And if I'm lucky enough to be able to respond to that voice with the tools that I also represent, then it is to work with those teams to help them understand the problem and get really wrapping around the entire problem space so that then we can move to focusing on the solution. If it's not one of my teams, then I go advocate for those changes with those teams so that I help those individuals understand the problem space from the perspective of GCs. And then someone on the specialty contractor team or the owner's team is likely doing the same, or definitely doing the same thing, so that they get a well-rounded understanding of the problem space and then they go attack that.
Yeah, and for those of you guys don't know, I mean, Procore obviously has a lot of different customer profiles, right?
Yeah.
You kind of specifically focusing on general contractors. You guys had some really exciting news yesterday up in the keynote and just some of the new things that you're working on. I have a couple questions I want to get to. One, I'm curious of like your most exciting thing that you have been waiting on announcing here, and just the buzz that this event creates, and just some of the fun stuff, like what stands out from kind of what you guys got to talk about yesterday.
Well, I don't think it's any secret in the room that I am probably the biggest fan of this Unearth acquisition of anybody in the company. I mean, listen, Copilot, fantastic. What we're doing in pre-construction, I love it. And pay, I mean, holy shit, man, right? Like, it's great. But I have personally been working with this Unearth team for over 2 years now. They have a great team. They've built a great product, and the stars just aligned for us. And I am so happy that everything came together in time to be able to talk about it at Groundbreak. We knew we were going to do it, but just to feel the buzz in the room, and when Wyatt was on stage announcing the first piece, I was backstage waiting on my turn up there, and my phone just lit up. And I intentionally took it out of my pocket so I didn't want to be distracted. And I'm just seeing it out of the corner of my eye, buzz, 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 buzz. There's customers in the crowd. It's our sales folks in the crowd, and I just love it.
And we on the DroneDeploy team are super excited about it too. And for folks that don't know about Unearth and kind of what it is, why you guys chose to acquire them, and I love what you talked about, the timing part too, is that is such a critical component people don't realize. But what would you want to tell folks about who they are and why it really was a strategic move for you guys to invest in bringing them on?
Sure. I think we all know that budget and schedule are the driving forces of any project, but that's from an exterior view, right? If I'm in the office, I'm concerned about budget and schedule. If I'm in the field, I'm concerned about context of what's impacting me right now. And the entire budget is not my concern today. I may be concerned with one line item, but location context has been lacking in this industry for a very long time. So the first thing we get out of the gate by combining these two platforms is location context for both vertical and horizontal projects, right? So I think that is great, and we can provide that for all the pieces that exist in Procore already. But what really has me excited is about where we can take this in the future, because this is a platform that now it proves the experience of DroneDeploy customers that are coming to Procore, right? Because we're able to feed that information directly into that map and relate it to all the other information that's already there, be it Procore data or data from other integration partners. But once we start to understand the types of data that are going to come from beyond what we have today and how people are going to start utilizing it, we can start to move towards a world of real-time location context. And I think that is an area where the industry in general has got to head, because we're having to do more with less. We're all doing it, regardless of what side of the industry. Procore's not a stranger to that. I'm sure you all are in the same boat, right? We've got to get more efficient, and providing that context, even in little subtle ways. I don't even mean like in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I'm the superintendent. I'm arriving on the site today. And if I understand the context of all the information that I'm going to interact with, I may just get a message that says, hey, you should park over here today. because that's going to take 20 less minutes for you to walk
Yeah.
to the first thing, or materials are going to be delivered in this area at 10:30 today. And it doesn't look like we've gotten these things, because we're seeing the activities and movement in that area out of the way.
I've heard it said well summed. I've heard it said construction without context is super confusing. It's like these 3 C's. And it's really interesting. I mean, even some of the partners that are here, how much location-based information is so critical. I heard Tui say yesterday is like construction is location-based. It is a location-based industry. And I think what was exciting from the DroneDeploy team hearing that is really our ability to help really bring a lot more context to those locations. And I guess what would you kind of say to folks that maybe haven't stepped into that world of reality capture, of location-based information? Like, what should they be thinking about as you guys are starting to fold that into the product?
Think about the field. That's it. That's always my starting point. Think about the field. Think about the information that they need, and think about how to get them that the most efficient way possible. And I think in most cases, it is location context that allows me to get where I'm standing, or where they're standing, or where work is taking place matters. And we need to understand what's going on, why it's going on, who's doing it. And we may be in a world in the near future where we can prevent crew clashes on job sites. But that location context is what drives everyone nuts on a job site today, right? If you send someone off looking for something, that is the last time you see that individual for the rest of the day, because they've got to run around. And, they're going, oh, I'm looking for a hammer. This is a 500,000 square foot warehouse, and I'm trying to find a hammer. You're never going to see me again, right? But even little things like the way I was explaining it to a friend last week who does not come from the industry, they were like, why is it so important to be able to have a system that can navigate you to a certain location? Can't you just walk over there? And I said, well, imagine you have an oil and gas pipeline and it's 400 miles and every weld has to be inspected because we don't want things blowing up, right? You're going to find that 1/4 inch weld on a 400 mile.
Good luck.
Yeah, right. And that same thing matters in a vertical building, right? It's just different. It's just different types of location.
Yeah, and I think that's what's exciting too. I heard it said from stage, hey, there's an excitement around bringing their team on because of the horizontal environment. It's actually an opportunity Brian and I got to ask Tui of like, hey, like we're in the built environment in the vertical side, and he was like, hey, that's a really important thing that we want to highlight too. And I think that's just what's exciting about it is location based is really agnostic to any industry. You talked about oil and gas. You talked about really construction horizontally, construction vertically. The last question I want to get to, because I'm in between you and so many other things. I can't believe that we picked you up to be able to have a conversation with. When you think about Groundbreak 24, we asked this to some people last year, and it's funny to kind of go back to those videos for this year. When you think about 24, this event next year in Denver, what is going to be the thing that you look back to and say, hey, we were talking about that and we did execute on it? Like, what excites you about next year's event?
I think it's connectivity, and I mean that through the lens of connectability, where we're sharing information across accounts. I mean, through the lens of pre-con, where we're sharing information along each step, and even document management, where individuals have to touch those documents via different phases, be it pre-con to course of construction to close out. I think driving that connectivity through the platform is key to what we have to do, and I think this time next year, we're going to be in such a better place there, and we have to be, because we're not getting additional resources in the industry, right? We're losing more than we're getting in every day. And so driving that connectivity and driving that efficiency, I can't think of anything more important.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you just pegged the new 24 theme of connectivity, and it's really exciting too, because I think, we look out on the floor here as Brian kind of pans out here, like the people that are here are all about connectivity. And I think that's what's exciting, is that it's almost the unified kind of message from all of us is like, hey, we will help you connect in that way, or we will help you bring more context or bring more information into this idea and platform to really help people do their jobs and better their lives, as you guys would kind of say it too. So Julian, one, thank you. It's great to get to have a chance to talk to you, and one, just hear a little bit more of your perspective, and the folks that are tuning into this too. Like we really do these to help folks that can't make it to the event, right, and don't have a chance to get to cross paths. So thank you, one. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll bring you guys some more content here in a little bit. Thanks for sticking in with us here, and we will see you here again soon.